Hey everybody, and welcome to Dear Esther, Landmark Edition. You may be wondering, why am I doing this, again? I don't usually play games over again on my channel. This one came out and it is a slightly better remastered version, and it has achievements in it, so I want the achievements because it just got added to my, games, and then I'm like, well shit, now I have to, play it. The other thing is that when I did this game originally, there was a lot of hiccups. It didn't record quite properly, and it was because of my hard drive back then. I didn't know it. But now I can record it without any of the hiccups. And I remember complaining about them, and let's just do it again and, fuck it, why not? My channel. You probably remember that from Tuesday. So, we're going to start from the very beginning. We're not going to just enable director's commentary, because you basically have to play the game twice, once with it and once without it. I'm going to go for without for right now. We're just going to go for it. But I'm going to try to get all of, if not most of, the achievements.
Dear Esther, the morning after I was washed ashore, salt in my ears, sand in my mouth, and the waves always at my ankles, I felt as though everything had conspired to this one last shipwreck. I remembered nothing but water, stones in my belly and my shoes, threatening to drag me under to where only the most listless of creatures swim.
There we go. We got the very first one. To drown yourself. It's morbid, I know, but, that's how it goes. Also, I hate the large captions. My bad. I have to turn those off. Okay, here we go. Now we can start the game in earnest. There are things in this game that I never actually noticed. That I missed. That hopefully I don't miss this time. Like, there are actually, like, ghosts that will appear around the island. And I completely, I hadn't seen any of them. Aha! I remember these things. Molecules written in. God, it's such a creepy-ass atmosphere. Can't take anything, that's right. It is very much a walking simulator. But, you know what? I'd like to chill out right now and just relax for a little while. So bear with me as I fumble through this once again. I wanted to record in 2K, but this game did not like it. I really should just get a 2K monitor or a 4K monitor and actually record these things in the proper resolutions. Look at all this paint in the boiler room. All right, there was two options. I don't think this bottom one actually leads us anywhere. But, oh wait, no, yes it does. But it's okay because we can get over there from both directions, I think. But there's something we can do from up here. I believe, anyway. So, I believe there's another achievement for actually just walking off a cliff. There's a lot of achievements for suicide. It's kind of impressive. Oh wait, did that one not work? I guess you have to be up higher. Well, now we're down here. Look at this. It is very, very pretty. Also, I widened the FOV a bit. Maybe that's... It seems a little bit, slower because of that. We are going to have to walk all the way back, I think, though. I remember that. No, wait. Maybe there's a path right here. No, there's a path right there. There are achievements for triggering all the voice dialogues, which one happens at the very beginning of the game. And there's one for finding some urns, which we'll find. I think I drowned myself the first time I played this, too, just, see if it would happen.
Those islands in the distance, I'm sure, are nothing more than relics of another time, sleeping giants, somnambulist gods laid down for a final dreaming. I wash the sand from my lips and grip my wrist ever more tightly. My shaking arms will not support my fading diaries.
Yeah. It's, It's a sad existence to be this man. I might have gone too far. I know I'm gonna need to turn around in a bit. Look at that. It's the golden ratio inside of Fibonacci's spiral. It does look a little bit better this time. I'll grant it that. Wish it could have been in 2K, but I'll just grumble about that a little bit more.
I have found the ship's manifest, crumpled and waterlogged under a stash of paint cans. It tells me that along with this present cargo, there was a large quantity of antacid yogurt bound for the European market. It must have washed out to sea. God knows there are no longer gulls or goats here to eat it.
There's a car here. You know, I never actually realized what that meant until playing this again. Because of that whole weird dream sequence with the car and whatnot. And the street sign. But, yeah, it makes sense. Also, wow, you really have to go out of the way to get those two voice dialogues. Because he doesn't trigger that until you go all the way down the beach. And this is an entirely optional path. But the Fibonacci spiral is kind of cool to see. It happens in nature a lot, that Fibonacci thing. Flowers follow it a lot. Fractals in general appear a lot in nature. Repeating patterns that, for whatever reason, continuously envelop each other. It's kind of cool. Now, I gotta figure out how to throw myself off a cliff. I know that sounds very morbid, but it is actually an achievement to fall off a cliff. There's a couple of different points where I can apparently do that, but there's one that's closer and quicker than the others. Also, apparently these steep cliffs won't entirely work in my favor for that. Or these, rather not steep cliffs. I wonder if I can't jump. That's right. And then that's the way further up. Oh. Should maybe not jump off of that. Maybe if I jump off right here?
The mount is clearly the focal point of this landscape. It almost appears so well placed as to be artificial. I find myself easily slipping into the delusional state of ascribing purpose, deliberate motive to everything here. Was this island formed during the moment of impact? When we were torn loose from our moorings and the seatbelts cut motorway lanes into our chests and shoulders, did it first break surface then?
No idea, but I'm pretty sure I could fall off here. Yep, there we go.
Come back.
There we go. Another achievement. Don't fall off the side of the ledges. There we go. I think those are the only two that we can really get here. The rest of them are just collections of sorts.
When someone had died or was dying, or was so ill they gave up what little hope they could sacrifice, they cut parallel lines into the cliff, exposing the white chalk beneath. You could see them from the mainland or the fishing boats, and know to send aid or impose a cordon of protection, and wait a generation until whatever pestilence stalked the cliff paths died along with its hosts. My lines are just for this: to keep any would-be rescuers at bay. The infection is not simply of the flesh.
We're going crazy! Look at this beautiful, like,
They were
flower
God-fearing
things.
people, those shepherds. There was no love in the relationship. Donnelly tells me that they had one Bible that was passed around in strict rotation. It was stolen by a visiting monk in 1776, 2 years before the island was abandoned altogether. In the interim, I wonder, did they assign chapter and verse to the stones and grasses, marking the geography with a superimposed significance that they could actually walk the Bible and inhabit its contradictions.
Probably not. I mean, that seems very, very specific. It seems like something you would do. Not necessarily us. Oh, I don't know if this is...
Dear Esther.
Oh, thank God.
I met Paul. I made my own little pilgrimage. My Damascus, a small semi-detached on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. We drank coffee in his kitchen and tried to connect to one another. Although he knew I hadn't come in search of an apology, reason or retribution, he still spiraled in panic, thrown high and lucid by his own dented bonnet. Responsibility had made him old. Like us, he'd already passed beyond any conceivable boundary of life. This hermit, this seer, this distant historian of bones and old bread, where did he vanish to? Why, asked the farmers. Why, asked Jacobson. Why bother with your visions at all, if you're just to throw your arms up at the cliff and let it close in behind you and seal you into the belly of the island, a museum shut to all but the most devoted?
Yeah, but a lovely museum it is. Look at this. It's just a really cool cave. So the hermit apparently once lived here, maybe? Whatever that means. There's a lot of crypticism in this, little bits and pieces that they really draw out through this entire story. Honestly, our main character is, not the greatest at formulating everything into a coherent statement. He very much likes his metaphors and his, ponderings on existentialism. Even though the end result is that the, story is pretty simple. As far as things go, anyway. Oh, there's like a sheen of silver when these things, you know, go by. Just like actual grass and all that. Oh, walk in the stream a bit. It's so pretty. I realize I'm gonna have to...
I dreamt I stood in the center of the sun, and the solar radiation cooked my heart from the inside. My teeth will curl, and my fingernails fall off into my pockets like loose change. If I could stomach, I'd eat, but all I seem capable of is salt water. Were the livestock still here, I could turn feral and gorge. I'm as emaciated as a body on a slab, opened up for a premature source of death. I've rode to this island in a heart without a bottom, all the bacteria of my gut rising up to sing to me.
That's very vivid and visual. Wow, buddy. Okay. Alright. Whatever, you know, floats your boat. Though there is a... Where's the Bible? There's like a Bible in front of one of these stones. Except I'm not seeing it. I thought there was a Bible in front of one of these stones. We don't actually need the Bible for anything, but we do need to go over here. Because over here, somewhere over here, we'll find our first urn. There's a few of these scattered about the island. We need to find all of them in order to get an achievement. Our first one was right there. Hopefully I haven't missed any voice triggers. I don't think I'd have. Unless there's one... No, I don't think there's one over there. There could be, for all I know. I think this is another place where you could fall down and get that one achievement of running off of a cliff. I remember getting that comeback thing a couple of times during the initial playthrough. Alright. Moving on to, I believe, chapter 2. Or at least chapter 2 is through here, anyways. Oh. In between the... Into the valley. Sure, we're gonna get some cryptic, No cryptic, dialogue here? Alright, we have to jump down here. Point of no return.
Dear Esther, I have now driven the stretch of the M5 between Exeter and Bristol over 21 times. But although I have all the reports and all the witnesses, and have cross-referenced them within a millimetre using my Ordnance Survey maps, I simply cannot find the location. You'd think there would be marks to serve as some evidence. It's somewhere between the turn-off for Sanford and the welcome brake services, but although I can always see it in my rear-view mirror, I have as yet been unable to pull ashore.
There was a ghost over there that I, just briefly missed, I believe. I think if we head over here, do we see a ghost on the other side? I know there's like 2 or 3 places that a ghost can appear on this end of the, thing. Or maybe it's the other way around. If I were to go down there, a ghost would appear on this cliff right here. Or maybe they removed the ghosts, actually. Because the ghosts are, in fact, not an achievement even to see the ghosts. Which is a little weird.
I've begun to wonder if Donnelly's voyage here was as prosaic as it was presented. How disappointed not to have found the bones of the holy man. No wonder he hated the inhabitants so. To him they must have seemed like barnacles mindlessly clinging to a mercy seat. Why cling so hard to the rock? Because it is the only thing that stops us from sliding into the ocean. Into oblivion.
Neither did something nor drink? Actually very curious, why don't they have the ghosts as achievements in this? I mean, I missed some of them. I definitely saw the others. But look at the shipwreck. I wonder, now that we're down here, is that ghost going to appear? I kind of really want to see it. No, I don't think it is. At least this boat seems a little bit more like, well, realistically destroyed than before. Not that it wasn't. I mean, it still looked like a shipwreck regardless, but, you know, looks like more of a shipwreck. Whatever that means. I'm very curious. If I go up here a little bit, does it appear? Oh, I don't think you can actually activate it once you've actually gone down. Not that it matters too much. There's a voice dialogue over there, which are really just made like you walk past a certain point and it turns on. There's a couple that you can miss. Not a lot.
I had kidney stones and you visited me in the hospital. After the operation, when I was still half submerged in anesthetic, your outline and your speech both blurred. Now my stones have grown into an island and made their escape, and you have been rendered opaque by the car of a drunk.
Yep. There's definitely a car crash in here. Is there anything over here? I don't actually know. Ah.
There must be a hole
Another line.
in the boat. How else could new hermits have arrived?
That one voice. Oh, I bet you all the people who played this game and like, I'm just going to go through it once and I'm going to get all the voice dialogues. And then that's the one that they goddamn miss. Because I didn't walk to the edge of this thing. No, to be honest, I think I've already missed one because there was a middle path that I didn't go through. And I'm just going to hope that there was nothing on it. But that, of course, means that I'm going to have to play it through again. Balls. At least it's a pretty game. But you can't say about everything. There are some games that are legitimately pretty. Hellblade was very pretty. This is pretty. Although it's still like, it's Source Engine pretty. Which I guess I have to like signify. Firewatch was even pretty. I like pretty games. I said that really weird and really creepy. Oh. Another place you could fall, I guess.
When I first looked into the shaft, I swear I felt the stones in my stomach shift in recognition.
Yeah, you can totally just, you know, whoop, right down there. It sounds like it's wailing, because wind into caves like that, it does that. These are barbed wire fences. What are we protecting up here? Like, you really want people not to walk through this? Seems rather terrible of you.
I've begun my ascent on the green slope of the western side. I've looked deep into the mountain from the shaft and understood that I must go up and then find the way under. I will stash the last vestiges of my civilization in the stone walls and work deeper from there. I'm drawn by the aerial and the cliff edge. There is some form of rebirth waiting for me there.
Is there, though? I don't know about that. Also, I just realized in this playthrough that your character walks super slow going uphill. They actually made that realistic. You walk slower going uphill. There's no reason for it. There's really no reason for it at all. I don't suppose there's anything up here that I could have gotten. Oh no, there's a fence. Actually, it seems more foreboding than pretty, to be perfectly honest. It's a little terrifying. That, like, reddish glow.
The Buffy was constructed originally in the early 1700s. By then, shepherding had formalized into a career. The first habitual shepherd was a man called Jakobsen, from a lineage of migratory Scandinavians. He was not considered a man of breeding by the mainlanders. He came here every summer whilst building the bothy, hoping eventually that becoming a man of property would secure him a wife and a lineage. Donnelly records that it did not work. He caught some disease from his malcontented goats and died 2 years after completing it. There was no one to carve white lines into the cliff for him either.
That's sad. All of it's very sad. What's in this burned out building? More chemical symbols of some sort. That's about it. Wow, that got whoever used the paint can really was just like all over the place. Drawings just like there were in the hermit's place.
When the oil lamps ran out, I didn't pick up a torch, but used the moonlight to read by. When I've pulled the last shreds of sense from it, I will throw Donnelly's book from the cliffs, and perhaps myself with it. Maybe it will wash back up through the caves and erupt from the spring when the rain comes, making its return to the hermit's cave. Perhaps it will be back on the table when I wake. I think I may have thrown it into the sea several times before.
Can't escape Donnelly's book, huh? That good? That bad? Who knows? Again, cryptic. I don't know if this character actually enjoys anything, to be perfectly honest. Sort of seems a sad sack most of the time. Well, our destination is down there, but we can't go down from here. No, we have to find our way around. I wonder if I'll beat this game quicker than last time, or longer than last time, because I'm trying to find certain things. Well, I hope not. That would seem real bad. And then I'll probably play through my own time and get the developer's commentary. I don't even know if I'm going to listen to it. I'm just going to walk through them all. There's an achievement for walking 500 steps, or 5,000 steps. And all I can think is, and I would walk 500 miles, and I would walk 500 more, just to be the man who walked 1,000 miles to fall down at your door. That's about as much as I'm going to do.
Cage, they told Donnelly, was deformed. The result of some birth defect, or perhaps a traumatic injury as a child. Brittle and overblown it was, and desperately light. Perhaps it was this that finally did for him, unable to contain the shattering of his heart. In half-light, his skeleton a discarded prop, a false and calcified seabird.
Jesus! Oh, he means figuratively, not actually inside of him. That would be really unsettling, actually. This one's more hidden than I thought it would be. There's a little area over here. We're supposed to go down to the right.
They found
we can continue to the left.
Spring. The thaw had only just come. Even though he'd been dead nearly 7 months, his body had been frozen right down to the nerves and had not even begun to decompose. All around him, small flowers were reaching for the weak sun. The goats had adjusted happily to life without a shepherd and were grazing freely about the valley. Donnelly reports they hurled the body in fear and disgust down the shaft, but I cannot corroborate this story.
And here we have another urn, which will blow away with the wind. Of course, we're always standing in the direction of the wind when we see it, so we're just covered in ashes or dust or whatever it is. I think it's mostly just ashes. It's very important, though, that there are 4 of them. One for Jakobsen, I believe, one for Donnelly, and 2 for other characters, which will be revealed through this. And I'm almost positive that's the case why there are 4. I mean, there are also only 4 chapters, but that's besides the point. I think there actually is a specific thing, just like there are 4 possible sightings of the ghosts. One's at the very, very beginning, by the way. If you look into the house that you start in front of, there could be a ghost in there. Which, admittedly, would have terrified me if I had actually seen it. But I remember the very first thing I said, I'm almost positive this is what I said when I started that playthrough the first time, was, wait, is there somebody in the house? And it turns out there wasn't. But I'm almost positive I may have seen one of the ghosts spawn in there. It almost looks like they've removed the ghosts. I don't know.
Climbing down to the caves, I slipped and fell and have injured my leg. I think the femur is broken. It is clearly infected. The skin has turned a bright, tight pink, and the pain is crashing in on waves, winter tides against my shoreline, drowning out the ache of my stones. I struggled back to the bothy to rest, but it has become clear that there is only one way this is likely to end. The medical supplies I looted from the trawler have suddenly found their purpose. They will keep me lucid for my final ascent.
Final ascent? That sounds terrible. Is there anything down here? Oh, there is. There's a trunk. Huh. I wonder what the trunk is actually from. I don't remember. Also, the noises, by the way, was anybody paying attention? Because that shit was creepy as fuck. Why anyone would choose to live on a haunted-ass island like this is beyond me. I mean, like, I don't know. It's so peaceful and everything, but, like, the wind makes enough noise on its own that it would creep people out to be here by themselves long enough. You would also, like, never go into the caves because fuck that, right? And here we are. Into a beautiful, beautiful section I particularly enjoy. Someone's been here. Oh, it looks even better now. I do believe this is slightly, remastered. We're getting achievements just for completing the chapters, by the way. Not much else. We did actually fall.
And crawl this far. Can I identify the scratches his nails ruined into the rocks? Am I following him cell for cell, inch for inch? Why did he turn back on himself and not carry through to the ascent?
Oh, maybe he didn't want to. Here we go. We're starting this, little place. Now, throughout here, I can see a couple of interesting things. There's those luminescent things on the walls, but they seem more natural. I think maybe the paint may have been created from these. I'm almost positive, anyway. Oh, look at this little pool. Oh, is this super deep? No, it's not. Caves can be deceptive like that, though. So, if you ever go spelunking, don't step in the water. Please, you might die. Can't actually go up there. Look at this. God, I got so caught up in the music. I believe she said Dreamer. Or like Waves and then Dreamer?
It was as if someone had taken the car and shaken it like a cocktail. The glove compartment had been opened and emptied with the ashtrays and the boot. It made for a crumpled museum, a shattered exhibition.
So I believe that some of these things are like the chemicals needed for combustion or something like that. I'm not entirely sure. I remember I looked them up and I just don't remember now. Look at this thing right in the center. It's like a shrine. Fascinating. Oh, can't go out that way. I just love the colors here. Bright and vivid teal. Almost never get to see that. Look at that. That is damned beautiful. Into the water! I would never be able to climb up this. It would be so slippery. You'd really have to try. You might need pickaxes to climb up this. I don't know how we're doing it. Stalactites are fairly fragile, so holding onto those, they would sort of just break. They kind of just break even if you just brush up against them. They're not really spiky like you think they are. Less death fragment and more, well, breaky thing. Well, that's the exit for the water. Goes out into the ocean, probably. Well, that's a lovely little... Oh, look at that. And you know that this water has to be fresh, because nobody lives on this island, so it's not like there's pollutants all over the place. I believe this is another place where you can jump and die. But I think you just land back into the water. I mean, if you really want to. Look at the colors at play here. You had the teal, the blue. There's orange from the candles. There's green from the natural light here. Oh, God. Pretty. There's not much else to say about the game because it's just a walking simulator, but it's very pretty. More of those little luminescent spots. Bunch of mushrooms on the ground. Can't really get high, so if you're wondering about that. Like the one red-tipped rock for whatever reason right there. That one too. Oh wow, we're moving a lot faster here. And out into another opening. To a grand cave.
Dream. I sat at peace with Jakobsen and watched the moon over the Sandford Junction. Goats grazed on the hard shoulder. A world gone to weed and redemption. He showed me his fever scars, and I mine. Between each shoulder, the nascency of flight.
That was a paper boat. Keep an eye out for those. I don't think we can fall into the river, but I could certainly try to. Or paint. I do remember coming to this point and realizing that, hey, wait. There's no reason to go all the way back here. Well, other than this just little back portion here. Oh, but we can do that. Oh, I never knew you could do that. You can literally just cross the water here. More schematics, designs. And right here, I believe in this area, somewhere over here, there is an urn. Fairly positive there is one at least. Huh. Maybe not? Or is that it? Nope, that's not an urn. Oh, wow. They're just straight up, like, gems. Low poly gems. Oh, pfft. There it is. Urn right there. Freeing that dust one thing at a time. I may have to go across the bridge to see if there's any dialogue that pops up. Ah, okay, right. So that leads up. So what's further down in the cave? Also, anything across the bridge? There is not. Shame. Could drop right here. That symbol. I don't know if we've seen that one yet. Like white natural light coming through there. The last visages of daylight, probably. Ooh, could we just skip across to the other side here and come back? That'd be nice. I thought that was a head from the water. I'm not gonna lie. Also, that the river here has a current. Not touching anything, it will pull you. Bunch of paper boats right there. Actually, I'm glad that we looked at that. Also, I like this. I can just climb up. That really looks like it's just a head, doesn't it? I thought it was like moving and looking at me, and God, that was weird. I'm probably wrong. It probably looks nothing like a head, but it certainly felt like it. Just getting paranoid. Because this game, I feel like it tries to be creepy at first, and then it quickly devolves into this, like, super chill-out experience. Which isn't a bad thing. It's just different. Much different. Alright. Let's head on up and out of this chapter. It's a very pretty cave, though. I think the caves might be the best part of this. They put a lot of time into making it seem real, you know? Like, this stone is smooth where it needs to be. It's a little bit rougher where it's not. There's a very smooth stone, a little bit rougher. There's stalactites everywhere that must have been put in individually until it felt right. It is quite the dedication to the craft. This is definitely good stage design. Alright, and then gems everywhere. Oh, look at that. That leads to the outside.
I will hold the hand you offered to me, from the summit down to this well, into the dark waters where the small flowers creep for the sun. Headlights are reflected in your retinas, moonlit in the shadow of the crematorium chimney.
This is the deep thing here. Remember how I said it's deceptive? Is there anything here at the bottom? No, there is not. Interesting. But you can go swimming in here. More symbols and things. Can I please get out? There we go. Behold, Damascus taken. Is taken. I remember that. This is some real insanity right there. I remember stopping and like trying to examine some of these, and like some of them I can recognize their, you know, chemistry symbols like that. But on the whole, it's just sort of all over the place. Away from being a city. And it shall be a furious help? Furious heap? Some sort of heap. That is literature references that I am not familiar with, to be perfectly honest. Those are growths of some sort. Like luminescent green strings of plant. Oh, and then we reach this little blue area. Back into the water we go. Swimming through. And I think we're at like the backside of the waterfall we saw before. Nope. Oh, okay. Well. Wait, were we supposed to fall down that? Yes, we were. Oh, right. This is the really weird part. There's a hospital bed right there. We keep going. I wonder if this is actually the M5. Actually, I think the sign probably says it. Right? They would have modeled the sign correctly. Oh, God. So you sink slowly. Yep, this is the M5, Southwest M5. There's a hospital bed there. I don't think we had to interact with it. Hopefully not. Land back here? Oh, this is a different pool. And out into the lights. I feel like there was dialogue that should have played there with the hospital bed. But it didn't for whatever reason. Ah, the level Esther. And here we are in the last chapter. It's sort of a little end to everything that we've really come across. Start on the left and make our way to the right. I believe that's how we can do this.
I sat here and watched two jets carve parallel white lines into the sky. They charted their course, and I followed them for 21 minutes until they turned off near Sanford and were lost. If I were a gull, I would abandon my nest and join them. I would starve my brain of oxygen and suffer delusions of transcendence. I would tear the bottom from my boat and sail across the motorways until I reached this island once again.
You're a weird one, Daniel. Like, really. Oops. You could swim in this? Wow, I feel like you can go a lot further than you ever could in the original. It's way more freeform. I like it. Maybe we need to go up there first, actually. It's kind of like Skyrim with climbing hills. You gotta sort of brute force your way up to a path that works. Like right here. Nope. Oh, come on. There we go. That about works. That is a beautiful moon, though. Old dry docks.
Dear Esther, I find each step harder and heavier. I drag Donnelly's corpse on my back across these rocks, and all I hear are his whispers of guilt, his reminders, his burnt letters, his neatly folded clothes. He tells me I was not drunk at all.
All this is guilt. I wonder if you actually have to, like, zoom in and look at that one up there to get that voice thing. I may have missed quite a bit of dialogue if that was the case. There's our last urn. We get Tior. We'll see if I get the dialogue one. I might just come back on my own and finish that out. Though, part of me is like, that'll be twice that I played this game and still didn't get all of it done. Oh, can I just scale these rocks and go up there? Come on. Just let me do it. Let me do it, game. Because there's another... Yeah. There's another shrine right here. One that we should probably look at. Shrine to the medical equipment that presumably Donnelly actually needed, you know, following the car crash. Have you been following along in the story? The crypticness? There was a car crash. It was our fault, sort of. I mean, you know, Donnelly says we weren't drunk. He tries not to blame it on us. But truth is, we probably were a little drunk. I mean, who doesn't get tipsy every now and then? I mean, hopefully not to the point of, you know, crashing cars and killing people. But it happens. More boats. Are these boats? It looks like they're boats. No, these are just rocks. Weirdly shaped. I still can't believe you can actually, like, swim in all of this. That's absurd, and I didn't even realize that was a possibility in the first game. So I'm starting to wonder if that, like, could you do that in the first game and I just never knew? Huh. Another one of those things. Looks like a lady in the picture. These shrines were elaborate to set up, by the way. Like, I think it alludes to the fact that, like, one person did all this. It's like, this is a lot of effort to go through. Like, nothing against it. It's just, like, that's a lot. Pieces of a car wreck. So those car parts that you saw originally. It's interesting, you know? It makes me wonder, is this just like a dilapidated sort of island that was left how it is. I think that's what he's trying to get at least when he was describing it at
chemical
first.
diagrams on the mug he gave me coffee in, sticky at the handle where his hands shook. He worked for a pharmaceutical company with an office based on the outskirts of Wolverhampton. He'd been travelling back from a sales conference in Exeter, forming a strategic vision for the peddling of antacid yogurt to the European market. You could trace the connections with your finger, join the dots, and whole new compounds would be summoned into activity.
Yep, that generally happens with chemicals. There's a thing there on the side, but you can see it from a better point a little later.
From here, I can see my armada. I collected all the letters I'd ever meant to send to you, if I'd have ever made it to the mainland, but had instead collected at the bottom of my rucksack, and I spread them out along the lost beach. Then I took each and every one, and I folded them into boats. I folded you into the creases, and then, as the sun was setting, I set the fleet to sail. Shattered into 21 pieces, I consigned you to the Atlantic, and I sat here until I'd watched all of you sink.
Oh. I went around here because I thought for sure that there was something here. But apparently not. That was a waste of time. I'll be honest, sometimes I feel like that with this game. It's very pretty, but I don't know what I'm doing half the time when I play this. It's mostly just holding down W and, you know, picking a direction. Walking simulators. This and, what was the other one that pioneered this? The one that you just sort of go somewhere and die. I can't remember what it was called. Very artsy games. They usually are, anyway. I'd love to see like a AAA walking simulator and just see what that actually is. I'm sure there is one somewhere. Hey, look, all those paper boats. I guess some of them actually came back inland. Oh, there's a way up there. Well, let's check out what's in here first. Because for sure this is, you know, another shrine, I'm guessing. On a sudden, a light from heaven shone around him, and he fell to the ground. It's a nest. I wonder if that's a biblical reference or some sort of literary one that I'm not getting. I'm not very well versed in the Bible, I'll be honest. Most of those references just fly over my head. I thought it started to rain in the game for a second there. So I believe there sometimes is another ghost right up on the top there. Doesn't look like we got any this playthrough. Which mostly makes me think that the ghosts have been taken out. Also, look at those carvings in the side. More symbols. It's kind of impressive, I'll be honest.
When Paul keeled over dead on the road to Damascus, they resuscitated him by hitting him in the chest with stones gathered by the roadside. He was lifeless for 21 minutes, certainly long enough for the oxygen levels in his brain to have decreased and caused hallucinations and delusions of transcendence. I'm running out of painkillers, and the moon has become almost unbearably bright.
Oh no, we got one after all. There's one of the ghosts. They didn't really do anything, they just sort of stand there. I'm not sure what you have to do to trigger one, or if they're always there. I thought there was one all the way up at the top, too. But as you get closer, he's going to start to vanish. So I believe this is a point of no return. Oh, he's still there for the moment. Can I get up to him? I don't think I can.
I've begun my voyage in a paper boat without a bottom. I will fly to the moon in it. I've been folded along a crease in time, a weakness in the sheet of life. Now you've settled on the opposite side of the paper to me. I can see your traces in the ink that soaks through the fiber, the pulped vegetation. When we become waterlogged and the cage disintegrates, we will intermingle. When this paper aeroplane leaves the cliff edge and carves parallel vapor trails in the dark, we will come together.
Alrighty. Oh wait, there's like a way down here. What is this to? I don't think I've ever went down this one. There's nothing down here but a candle, I suppose, but I didn't even know that this little ledge here existed. Okay. So yeah, that ghost is gone. We got one ghost. Really? Have I just missed the rest of them? That's sad. But at least it lets me know that they didn't take them out of the game. I'm just shit at this. And he was proceeding on his journey. Also, I believe from here that this is a better place to read this one down here. Maybe? Not quite. Oh, well, whatever. I read it last time. Or I could probably read it while I'm up there. So it's not that big of a deal. It's about, Paul going to Damascus. It's all the same thing. I guess that is biblical. At least I think so. I think they mean St. Paul. Although I don't know what he's a patron saint of. And was come near something. Can't read some of these because they're in odd angles. Oh God.
If only Donnelly had experienced this, he would have realized he was his own shoreline, as am I. Just as I am becoming this island, so he became his syphilis, retreating into the burning synapses, the stones, the infection.
Oh, I believe that means that I actually got all of the dialogue things. Man of the Rocks? Sweet. At least I think so. Well, wait. But that means literally walking up the rest of it. Oh, no, there's one that plays as you start going up the last thing that will always happen. Oh, we could check out this real quick before we go up there. I don't remember this little house.
The stones in my stomach will weigh me down and ensure my descent is true and straight. I will break through the fog of these godforsaken pills and achieve clarity. All my functions are clogged, all my veins are choked. If my leg doesn't rot off before I reach the summit, it will be a miracle. There are 21 connections in the circuit diagram of the anti-lock brakes. There are 21 species of gull inhabiting these islands. It is 21 miles between the Sandford Junction and the turn-off for home. All these things cannot, will not be a coincidence.
Cannot? You sure about that? Maybe you just want them. That's a ring. I didn't even notice the ring before. I can't interact with it. Can't pick it up. I think a lot of people assume that the letter being written is something different. But, I don't know. I mean, obviously the game through this entire point is the letter to Esther. Dear Esther. That is pretty. I might make that the thumbnail of this. Just the moon. It's impossible to read this stuff. It's just so, like, up on the mountain. Moon. I believe you can also fall off here if you haven't gotten that by this point. That achievement. If you have. Good for you. That red beacon all the way up there.
He was not drunk, Esther. He was not drunk at all. He had not drunk with Donnelly or spat Jakobsen back at the sea. He had not careered across the lost shores and terminal beaches of this nascent archipelago. He did not intend his bonnet to be crumpled like a spent tissue by the impact. His windscreen was not star-studded all over like a map of the heavens. His paintwork etched with circuit diagrams, strange fish to call the gulls away. The phosphorescence of the skid marks lighting the M5 all the way from Exeter to Damascus.
And there it was. That's what pulls this all together. Because I believe there is probably a city called Damascus in England that's on the M5. You know, from Exeter to Damascus. We have another ghost. So all the ghosts have a certain form, I believe. Like, people have gone into the console and, you know, no-clipped right up next to them to see what they look like. There's a woman and two men.
We will leave twin vapor trails in the air. White lines etched into these rocks.
I believe that the one up here is almost formless and has no face. Which I guess is meant for this, you know, character here.
Dear Esther, I have burnt my belongings, my books, this death certificate. Mine will be written all across this island. Who was Jakobsen? Who remembers him? Donnelly has written of him, but who was Donnelly? Who remembers him? I have painted, carved, hewn, scored into this space all that I could draw from him. There will be another to these shores to remember me. I will rise from the ocean like an island without bottom, come together like a stone, become an aerial, a beacon, that they will not forget you. We have always been drawn here. One day the gulls will return and nest in our bones and our history. I will look to my left and see Esther Donnelly flying beside me. I will look to my right and see Paul Jakobsen flying beside me. They will leave white lines carved into the air to reach the mainland, where help will be sent.
So yeah, it's a letter to Esther, who died in a car crash with him. She wrote about this old man who lived on this island named Jakobsen, and then he's gonna kill himself because she died in the car crash with him and he lived. That's what this boils down to. This dude has just gone insane, mostly from the medication and, you know, stuff that he's taken. But it's basically where it is at. thank you all for watching, and I will see you guys next time, where we won't be doing this game, we'll be doing something else. I just wanted to go ahead and get all those achievements for the hell of it. You know, why not? Fuck it, right? Oh, in any case, next time we'll do something else that's fun, and next week we should be starting another series for the Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday slot, so we can actually get out of the, one-time game deal type things. Anyways, thank you all for watching. See you guys next time. Bye-bye.